almost all the hotels I usually stay are closed at the moment, so I had to go with my last resort. And welcome back to another episode of the Hotel Fit Show, where we talk about health, wellness, and hospitality. I'm Leo Amarim, and if you're here, it's probably because you are a leader in the hospitality industry and a high performer that's interested in improving physically and psychologically in order to become the best version of yourself as an individual and at work in hospitality. So if you're not a part of the community yet in the Facebook group, look for Hospitality Fitness Community on Facebook or facebook.com/hospitality fitness community to join us here. There's a ton of cool stuff happening, as well as a massive amount of free resources and information for your fitness and health. So join us at the Hospitality Fitness Community. And I'm super excited today because we're talking with Danny Kristof, the running man. And Danny is a hotel food and beverage manager. He just recently took over the pre-opening of the Maldron Hotel Manchester City Centre. He ran 5K every day for a year, raising over £5,000 for charity. And this is over $6,000 for the Americans watching this. Danny, awesome to have you here, man. We've been LinkedIn connections for a while, chatting back and forward. And I think a lot of guys here need a little bit of a boost in motivation and mindset. As you know, this is a tough season for everyone when it comes to health and fitness in this festive season. And I thought having you here would be a good way to get some inspiration to the group. So thank you very much for passing by.
Pleasure to be here, Leo, to be honest.
And to start out, I want to just play a little game, like kind of a would you rather quick game, just to break the ice. So first question, Manchester United or Manchester City?
Manchester United.
Awesome, because I have this prepared here from 2018.
Hey, good man.
Mourinho's season. I was hyped.
Yes.
I hadn't been a Man United fan before, but ever since Mourinho went there, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get the shirt, be like a fan. And I was for what, a year or something?
Good man. Are you still a fan now?
I am still a fan now because of, obviously I'm biased. I got the Portuguese players in there and I'm Portuguese, so can't help it.
The best Portuguese player, yeah?
Yeah. That's two of the best. All right. So if you had to pick any back of house role in hospitality, which one would you pick?
Back of house.
You've been in front of house, I think, like since you started, more or less. So I'm curious.
Probably go to, I don't know, sales maybe. Sales.
Okay.
I've always, I like to see what they do, and it's quite integral, isn't it, to the running of a hotel and a restaurant and everything. So I think sales would be a good point, although I don't like sitting down. I like being very active. So again, maybe sales, I don't know. One day.
Interesting. That's interesting. Must be like really interesting. Although they're a bit, I feel like they are usually a bit set aside from the whole operation. Like they don't know what's really going on along like the trenches of the stress and the fun stuff. But interesting response. If you weren't working in hospitality, what would you do for a living instead if you were able to choose anything?
I'd love to be, so it's changed recently, to be honest. If I weren't in the hospitality industry, I'd probably be a teacher. I think what I'm thinking about, there's a gentleman called Tim Minchin. I don't know if you know him, but again, he goes by the thing of, if you never know what to do, teach, because that is the biggest thing that we can do. If we've got a little bit of advice or, just go into schools, teach, tell them, there's always somebody that needs to know something. And I like talking to people, and I like giving advice, and I like learning myself. So I think, a teacher would be up there.
Yeah, cool stuff. What kind of teacher?
I don't know, probably like a primary school teacher, like PE, maybe PE teacher.
Okay. That makes sense. Would you rather be overbooked and understaffed for every single day for the rest of your career in hospitality, or to have rainy days every day for the rest of your life? Not a ray of sunshine.
No.
What would you pick?
Never a rainy day. So I'd rather be fully booked, understaffed, busy. I like the busyness. It keeps you going and it keeps your mind very, you're always focused.
Mhm. I thought you were going to say rainy days every day because you already live in Manchester. So I thought, okay, maybe it doesn't matter. But okay, last one before we dive in. If you could own a hotel where you would also live in, would you pick a 1930s ultra luxury city hotel or a beach resort in the Caribbean?
Oh, beach all day long.
Okay.
What a dream.
I thought you were gonna say the other way around, but
See,
yeah, cool stuff. I would
you.
pick the same. I would pick the same. Genetics, man. All right, so let's dive in. And for the hospitality fitness community, if you're new in the group, welcome to the group. We're here to help you guys improving physically and psychologically around your busy schedule. And if you're with me right now and excited to learn about Danny's experience running 5K every single day for a year while progressing through the ranks in hospitality, just drop me a like in the comments below. Say a little hello to let us know you're here. Drop us a thumbs up for me and Danny that came all the way here to share his experience. Danny, before you started this charity project, did you used to run or enjoy running before this? Or was this like something that you started this initiative and then got to enjoy it?
So I have ran in the past. It was always something that I'd done. In school, for instance, I never had any interest in fitness. I didn't want to do it. And as I sort of got older, I loved seeing people going out there, pushing themselves, people losing weight, people trying to better themselves. And I tried it and I fell off, and I tried it and I fell off, and there was nothing ever to sort of aim towards. So then, fast forward till last year, I thought to myself, I was in a really bad sort of headspace. It was just before lockdown. I've been working in hospitality at this point for 8 years, 9 years, just started a new job, and I just I was overweight, very it was taking its toll on sort of my work output. I was never focused, so I thought I need to focus on something now. So I thought I'll do a challenge just to keep me focused. So I will set a start and a finish. So I set an end game of running for 365 days. I just thought, why not? And as I was thinking about it, I was thinking, why not I try and put a little bit of charity behind it, being accountable and trying to push myself to do something that I'd never thought possible. So yeah, I think before this charity challenge, I'd never had anything to focus on. I've never had an aim to do it. I always think about the why we're doing something. And as soon as you put the why, as soon as you find your own reason to do that, then it will push you and you'll keep on going. But you need to want to do it, and you need to want to find the thing that you love doing. It not necessarily running, but if you want to do, I don't know, cycling, if you want to do something ever, you need to know why, and then you'll have something to push towards.
That's awesome, man. And you said that you were in a mentally like a lower headspace, and you were kind of struggling with the end of lockdown and etc. And you were overweight, and you got rid of that weight for sure. Because I scrolled through like your Instagram page where you got your story, and I've noticed that since like when you started up until the end, like your face, especially your face, looks quite different. So how much weight was that?
Overall, from starting the challenge, so I started it on the 1st of April 2020. Yeah, 2020, sorry. And I finished just this year, the 1st of April again, 2021. So yeah, 4.5 stone between them 2 points, 4.5 stones. I started off just running, so I never went out there to do it for fitness. I never went out there to do it for weight loss. I wanted to do something to prove to myself. When I came up with a challenge as well, so this was before lockdown, so that it was before all this, hoo-ha in the world. We didn't know what was going on at this point. So I really owe the challenge a lot, because I started thinking about it in February, and when I started it, that was in the middle of sort of the lockdown period. So I think running at that point really pushed me to do something more in the time that I had. I had a little bit more time. We all did. Working in hospitality, we're all shut down. We weren't really doing much. I was lucky enough to carry on working throughout the whole thing. But again, I just sort of took the opportunity, and I thought, well, I'm losing a little bit of weight here. I am, I've got all this time. Why don't I just try and push it a little bit further? I'll change my eating habits. I'll drink more water. I will reset. I'll use this time to reset my mind and focus a little bit further ahead than I normally would. And that would then benefit myself, and it'd benefit my career and the people around me. I'd be a much better person to be around if I did that.
That's awesome. Because, one of the things that I noticed when all of this started is that most people were depressed.
Yes.
They're like, okay, I'm here stuck in something that I can't control. It's a bad situation. And they didn't see like the positive things in there, which was like, okay, what can I do with this amount of time that I have in my hands that I can use to improve myself and progress in areas of life that I otherwise wouldn't have the time to improve. And that's what you focus on doing, like focusing on the positive of the whole situation that you can control. And I think that's awesome. And so for the guys that are watching this and they are from America, 4.5 stone, it's 25 kilos?
Well, I think around about, to be honest.
Yeah, probably between 25 and 30 kilos, if I'm not wrong. And so that's quite a lot. That's really impressive. And I guess so you said that you started drinking more water and caring more about nutrition and etc. I was going to ask you that actually, like if you lost the weight just because you were running 5K a day and it was like impossible not to lose weight, but you also have a nutrition strategy then.
So initially, no. And this was a point. I was running 5K every day for about 3 months initially. And at this point I wasn't ready, I weren't fueling myself. I wasn't drinking enough water. And I was going into it sort of, if I'd have carried on, I would have probably lost a lot more weight, but it would have been very unsustainable. So, 3 months in, I thought I need to change what I'm doing. So again, changing my eating habits. I was changing drinking, drinking water, more water than ever, which is great. But I thought I'd just take the opportunity. I've got fitness. I'm regaining my fitness. I'm losing this weight. I'm thinking, wow, like in a year's time, I could be this. And seeing things in a different light. I was always packing a little bit of weight, and I was thinking, I'm never going to lose this, especially working in bars and restaurants where they're giving you food and drink all the time, and you're always nibbling at stuff. You never really sat down having a meal. You're always trying to find time to eat. You come home after a shift and you'd eat at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. Them sort of things. I sort of thought, if I want to change myself, I need to change what I'm doing, and these things, it needs to stop. But at the same time, fueling myself enough to be able to do these things, so I upped my calories, and again I lost weight from that, because the amount of running every day, I needed more calories, I needed more fuel. I'd be drinking a lot more water. I'd just be getting more sleep as well. So like that's a massive thing, even if I was having a little bit of sleep, I was doing nights for 3 months in the hotel, but I'd put time away to make sure I'm getting sleep, and I would set my alarm, get up, and I'd just make sure I'd go. If I was feeling a bit shit, I would genuinely just I'd push myself out, because that's the worst thing you can do, sit there and just watch time go by. But yeah, that's huge, changing habits around things to sort of push towards what you want to get in the end.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I'm just thinking, I didn't know about the fact that you were doing nights for 3 months, because that obviously changed the game a little bit.
Yeah.
I've done nights for a long time as well, and I know how it is, like to have those cravings in the middle of the night. Like you have to eat junk food, and then even on your days off, because you're used to working nights and you wake up at weird hours and like kind of breaks your rhythm. It's not like I like for some people it's easier than the others, but I think it's not the healthiest thing that you can do for a long time. Like there's like a small minority of the population that are naturally genetically more adapted to kind of do that.
Yes.
But I felt like that it was complicated to control the nutrition and also like your mood in general, to like because of the lack of daylight, the mood for fitness and the mood for exercise and all of that.
Exactly.
So when you were doing nights and like overall, what kind of things would you like mostly focus on eating? What was the strategy here in specific?
Really specifically, you know, I'd want to be eating more fatty, you know, good fats. So I'd start looking at things like, you know, I'd be massive. I went through a stage where I just eat the same thing every day, and it got boring, and I weren't sticking to it. So I'd be on like rice and chicken, and then I'd be on like avocado and eggs. Then I'd be on, you know, all these weird and wacky things. But at the same time, them things just become boring. So then I'd start changing things up again. I'd start looking at recipe books. I'd always try and make it fit around what I like. So if I was going to have a chicken salad, you know, I'd dress it with a little bit of sauce or something, or make it something that I want to eat, because there's no point in changing the way that you are. Just, you know, you're never going to be able to stick to it. You need to be able to have something that you can stick to and make it your own, you know. So yeah, specifically, I never really had anything in the first couple of months, but then towards sort of the end period, you know, I'll be having a lot of protein. I'll be making sure that I was warming up, cooling down. I'd be having a lot of electrolyte water. You know, just refueling myself. It's not about going out there. I could run a million miles out there, but it's the time that you're not doing things is most important. It's the recovery and making sure that you can just get back up again, carry on, and have enough energy to do your job as well, especially in our industry.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like definitely. And that's another thing, like working nights makes like the sleeping component more complicated, and sleep is one of the most important things for recovery. And if you're running 5K every single day, then you want to make sure that your sleep is on point. So like even more impressive. What was the number one lesson? If you had to pick one lesson, what was the number one lesson that you've learned throughout all this process?
The number one lesson, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a whole lot about myself. The biggest thing that I learned is to always, you know, these things are here to test you. You're gonna hit a million hurdles along the way. You know, there's a lot of things that are gonna get pushed in front of you. The biggest thing that I learned is to stay focused. You know, you've got to stay focused throughout everything, you know, and it's that why again. Why am I doing this? Why do I want to lose weight? Why do I want to raise this amount of money for charity? You know, where is that money going? What, you know, you need to see these things and you need to put it into perspective. So the biggest thing, yeah, for me is having that focus, having the aim, having the objective, and being able to push it forward. I'm a huge believer in, you know, I love doing charity work at the moment because that is something that drives me, and I like to see the end product. I like to go there and physically, you know, I had two check presentations when I ended the challenge. So I went to the first charity and I went to the second, and £2,500 each. You know, I got to see where that money was going, and that is amazing. And you know, it's something that I never thought possible. So yeah, I'm gonna say two things that I've learned, Leo. So one is stay focused, have that aim, but the second one is never doubt yourself. Never ever doubt yourself, because that is the first thing that's gonna push you off. You know, if you think it's possible, no matter what. If it's big, amazing. If it's small, amazing. You need to push yourself, and the bigger the better in my head. You know, think scary, think things that really scare you, because if they scare you, you're probably going to want to prove yourself, and you probably want to go and do that, and if it inspires one person, if it doesn't, fine, you've done it, and that's it. So yeah, that two things that I've learned.
Spot on, man. I can't imagine how thrilling it must have been for you to actually go with the check and physically go into that charity and see like the effects of your hard work like materializing until like that must have been like such a feeling.
Life-changing, like honestly, to me, life-changing, because when I finished it, it was a huge emotional bloody roller coaster. You know, I'd created a habit. So they say, you know, a habit, you can create habits in 21 days, they say. So throughout the whole year, 365 days, I've come to the end and I've gone, right, I'm done. And, you know, that I probably shouldn't have just stopped, but I did. And in my head, I just wanted to, you know, that challenge was done. I had completed what I'd set myself to do. Again, it was sort of a thing where I was like, this is end of one chapter and it's going to be a start of another. So when I got to the end, I went to the charities, and this money, you know, throughout lockdown, they're not doing fundraising. They weren't doing all the things that these charities were doing anymore, which made it even more special to me, because I knew that this money was really helping, you know. And it was a lot of graft, it was a lot of work, but at the same time, it was the best thing that I've ever done. And just to be able to see that moment was really special for me.
That's fantastic. Very inspirational. And for those who are watching this right now, guys, you got to find your why. And that's, you know, you can find your why in different things. For Danny, it was on challenging himself. And he found a meaningful reason to accomplish his hurdles by doing this for the benefit of charities. So you guys can definitely do it too around the busy schedule. Danny, I understand like the success of this project was also kind of parallel with your this more recent progress in hospitality, where you took over the pre-opening and have done this like brand new project for the hotel that you're in now. Would you say that the character traits that you developed in this challenge, were they the same character traits that allow you to kind of progress and improve in hospitality?
Without a doubt, you know, it's accumulation of everything. When you believe in yourself to do something, I really believe you're going to do it. You know, it's having that mentality. So the same things that I put into the challenge, you know, I'd put into my career, I'm going to continue to put into my career, because I know I love hospitality. I will never come out of it, without a doubt. If I go to teach, like I said before, it'll be in hospitality. You know, I will always be here. So yeah, the traits that I learned within the industry, within the challenge, I've started to put into myself, and you know, the self-belief, you know, the perseverance, the confidence, just the time management is a massive thing as well. Like making sure I have enough time for the things that I need to do, you know, prioritizing, all these things are massive. And yeah, I really don't think I'd be in a position right now if I didn't take that step back last year and just sort of reset myself, because I'd just be plodding along. I'm always in my comfort zone. You know, I love being in my comfort zone. I like sitting down, you know, having a cup of tea, whatever. But the best things happen, obviously, when you're out of your comfort zone. You need to push yourself. It's your own personal, you know, brand, essentially, isn't it? So whatever you see in somebody, you know, they see in you as well. So being the best person you can be at all times, and believing that what you want and what you are going to drive towards, you're going to get it. You just need to believe, essentially.
Yeah, I resonated with part of what you said, like when you talked about the possibility of teaching. If you were to teach, you would still try and stick with hospitality because you love hospitality. And I kind of felt the same way when it was time for me to decide, because I was doing this like as a part-time gig from my job in hospitality. And then when it was time to kind of choose, I felt like, yeah, I'm not ready. I want to still do something related to hospitality. And so I kind of find a way around that. And, you know, it's awesome what you just said, and that you learned like skills that are going to allow you to progress and help you progress, and those character traits are so important that you had to slow down before you sped up. And I think that was a good use of your time. Definitely a better individual and a better hospitality leader. I'm curious about the logistics though, when you said like time management, that you learned to juggle the running around your schedule. What were the logistics like? Would you do it like before work in the morning, or would you like bring your trainers to work and get equipped there and then run back? What kind of logistics were there?
I was doing it. So yeah, I was on nights for 3 months. And I had this in my mind. I needed to complete this run every day. So whenever I could do it, I would multiple times, throughout the challenge, I'd start off. I'd wake up at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, whilst I was on nights, obviously. But like I'd wake up and then I'd go for a run. I'd get ready, have my food, go to work, do a night shift, and then I'd take my running stuff with me and I'd do another 5K at the end of my shift. 2 separate days, but I was still awake for one. So I'd use that as, what day 1, day 2, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
But I was also finding time when I came off nights, I would very much so just set my alarm early in the morning, no matter if I was on a 15-hour shift, 16-hour shift. I was making time for that run because it was important. And I never felt worse off when I went out for that run. No matter how rubbish I felt in the morning, how tired I felt, how much I had going on in my life, how much was going on in work. As soon as I stepped out that front door and I was running, I weren't thinking about anything else, because that was my time, and that was important. 30 minutes a day, 5K takes an average person 30 minutes a day. Not a long time at all, but the effects of doing this every single day, it creates a habit and it creates momentum, and the benefits from that is huge, mentally, physically, in all aspects of your life. So I don't believe people that say there's no time to go for a run, there's no time for fitness, there's no time to better yourself. You're putting that into yourself. It's going to benefit you along with your career. So yeah, making time. I definitely made time to do it, and I'm not saying it was easy. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was for me, and I saw the benefits and I saw everything coming out, and that was improving all aspects of my life.
That's fantastic. I recall, years ago when I started to go to the gym every day before work in hospitality, I was enjoying it so much, like those benefits that you spoke of. I was enjoying that so much that I would come to work and speak about that like obsessively to everyone. Hey, I'm doing this and I'm training this. And then people would say, I need to lose weight, but I don't have time. Oh, I need to lose weight, but the food in the canteen. They would always like find things around the hotel. And I would have like these conversations almost daily. And I would get like, every time that they would come up with that excuse of the time, that still happens nowadays. Yeah. But I would be like, but you don't know, like the benefits. The benefits are so overwhelming that once you unlock that door of benefits, it's a whole new world for you.
Absolutely. And it's not even just running. It's the outdoors, getting outside, fresh air. All these things that we take for granted. I discovered loads of places around where I lived during this time, and again, like you're saying, like you're telling people and you're getting blank looks. We can only do so much, and I'm not a preacher. I'm really not. If you don't want to help yourself, fine, but I will be a massive sort of push if you want help, and if you want whatever, I will be there and I'll support you, because I have huge amounts of support during the whole thing, and I'm always a believer in if someone wants to better themselves, if someone wants to do something, go for it, because no matter what, that self-belief that you're showing yourself, it's huge, and nobody should ever bring you down, because you know, in the first 3 months of doing this challenge, I never mentioned that I was self-conscious. You know, I was going out in the street wearing like jumpers and stuff in the middle of spring, because I thought, what am I doing? And it clicked in my head. It just clicked, and I thought, why am I even, you know, I'm out here running. You know, a lot of people wouldn't be doing that. A lot of people would be sat down in the house, you know, just in their own comfort zone. And the moment that I sort of cut myself off from everything, you know, thinking about what other people thought of me, that was the moment that things changed. You know, I didn't care. I thought, I'm out here doing what I can. And the same goes for people that are having these thoughts in their head as well. Never, ever, you know, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a massive confidence sort of push. But the moment you think, I'm doing this for myself, and this is what I'm going to achieve, that is going to take over. And you know, the end goal is going to be life changing, without a doubt.
Yeah, man, awesome. And like now jumping on to these days, when okay, so you finish the challenge and you stop for a little bit, and these days you still run often, right?
Yes.
How often do you run? What kind of runs do you do? What kind of goals do you have?
So at the moment, I'm obviously not running every day, but when I stopped it, I thought I'm gonna try and run as often as I can, but you know, I'll be doing longer, so I'll be going for longer runs. So like, I'll be doing an average at the moment. I'm doing about 4 or 5 long runs a week. So that gives me time in between just to reset. You know, I can be doing a little bit of strength training. I can be doing little bits alongside. I love at the moment. I'm doing a little bit of work since doing the challenge. Since like sort of ending the challenge, I've been doing a lot of work with Run Through UK, which are a huge running, event company in the UK. So they do events all up and down the UK, south, north, whatever. And I've been taking part in a lot of them events as well. So 10Ks, half marathons. I've not yet done a marathon, an official marathon, but I'm booked onto one in April for the Manchester Marathon. But again, these little things, I'm trying to do as much as I can with the time I've got, not overdoing it. But then in the back of my mind, you know, I've got another challenge set for next year as well, which again, that's going to keep me going throughout the winter, and just keep on sort of pushing it for myself, you know, just challenging myself. It's nice to be challenged. I like it.
Yeah, of course. Like what I say, and this particularly, I often say this to people who are on the weight loss journey. And the reason why a lot of people, most people relapse after losing a little bit of weight or like sticking to something for a couple of months is that they didn't form the habit. And what happens is that they stop having the goal. They think, okay, my problem is solved, so I'm gonna, you know, just chill a little bit. And what happens is that you rapidly will relapse if you don't set the goal after goal after goal.
Yes.
And it's something that will push you forward. And that's definitely very, very important, not only on the weight loss world, but in general when it comes to health. And I think also like in hospitality, you should always have like one goal. So now you are a food and beverage manager. Perhaps you're looking at food and beverage director or operations manager, or maybe doing a cross training in the front of house, which you already have experience, and go a step further and a step further. Maybe like in the future, in a couple of years, move to a different hotel or explore a different business model, maybe in hospitality. But you always have to have one goal, right?
Exactly.
For you, like for now, do you contemplate the possibility of doing a little bit of resistance training, or are you just sticking with the running for now?
I love cardio. Like I really like cardio. I'm never going to be, you know, hench built up. You know, you're very in shape yourself, Leo. To be honest, I like what I like. I know what I like, and I like what I know. So yeah, running for me is it. I'll always do strength training. I'll always do, you know, bits in between. But for now, and for what I want to do, it's enough. You know, I'm enjoying it. And to be honest, like running as well, I can do it anywhere. Like there's no pressures on myself to be able to, you know, if I'm going away for work, if I'm on a training course, I'll always take my running stuff because I can fit it in. Whereas if I was doing something a little bit more, strength training or whatever, I'd have to sort of put a little bit more pressure on myself to find these places. And it's inside as well. I don't like the indoors. I like to be outside, trail running, places, discovering places. I like to be, out and about. So running, yes, that's it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've met a lot of cardio people. I am not one myself. I've done a little bit of some challenges because as well, I like challenges. It's not my environment, but I've done a half marathon once in winter, and I've done a crazy David Goggins challenge. Like I run 4 miles for every 4 hours for 48 hours. I've done that. Like, I don't know. Yeah. But that's like, that's a story for another time. And that was awful.
Was it?
David Goggins.
He's mad.
Also like it was for charity as well. Like the money, you bought a t-shirt and then like the money of that t-shirt would go for charity. I think, but I basically done it because I had been jogging and listening to his audiobook.
Yeah.
And like the guy just got in my head, like the tough, like explore tough times and challenge yourself and all of that. So I decided to do that. I couldn't walk for a week, but anyway, like story for another time. To wrap up, what would be your advice for hospitality leaders watching this who want to get healthier but have no motivation or energy?
So yeah, I think I've said it a lot in this live, but it's just finding why you want to do that. Again, it'll all come into place when you start putting them little things. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. You putting each piece down, and it's going to take a while for you to complete it, but at the same time, every step you make is going to get you to where you want to be. Always have confidence in yourself. If you're not going to believe in yourself, who will? And then just making sure you have these goals in place. If it's a long-term goal, have little short-term ones in between to keep you motivated along the way, because if it's too far in front, you're never going to get there, because you need to keep yourself accountable throughout the journey. So if it's your career, wherever, I started off as doing bar back in a nightclub. So I'd always, at that point, I wasn't ever looking ahead. I was always thinking, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. What can I do now? And more recently, I'm always thinking, if I do this, it'll get me to A, and then I'll get there, I'll get to B, and then I'll get to C. But it's having that confidence to do that, and it's using the network around you. These things that you're doing right now is amazing. Building a network, building your personal brand, building upon yourself. And speaking with people, speaking with like-minded people in hospitality. We've all got stories, we've all got advice. Making use of that and building that little network around you, because these people will support you along the way. Hospitality is a very big industry, but at the same time, it's very small. We're all in the same boat. So my biggest advice would be just to keep persistent, keep these little short-term goals in your career, in your fitness journey, but overall keep in mind why you're doing it and what you want to achieve at the end.
Awesome. Thanks for that, man. Last question. If you had to go back and give yourself an advice 10 years ago when you first started in hospitality, just one piece of advice, what would that be?
Lay off the fries, I think, Leo. Yeah. The fries, the fried food, beers are massive. Okay. The amount of times you'd stay after work having a couple of beers. I think the biggest advice is enjoy the social aspect, but at the same time, just hold back a little bit. Geez, you probably make an idiot of yourself, and you won't wake up in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult that like in hospitality, because you have that lifestyle of finishing work and what a tough day. Let's go for a beer, and then you have 10 beers, and you kind of have that a lot. That's something that's within those coping mechanisms are within us in hospitality. It's tough to get out of it.
And it's sociable, isn't it? The job is sociable, but yeah, it's enjoying them moments. You know, it's going out for Christmas parties. The industry is very rewarding in that sense. Make the most of it. Enjoy every bit of it. You know, it's going to be the best experience. A lot of people that have not stayed in the industry that I've worked with have always said that they have fond memories of being in, like, working in this sort of environment, because there's no other industry like it. There isn't. You know, every day is different. You're always doing different things, and there's always different people, all ages, all genders, races, religion, everything. So it's massive. You learn a lot about yourself, and you learn a lot about other people as well. But it's very rewarding, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, it's a very unique industry, isn't it? There's nothing like hospitality. Danny, if any of the members of the community, if they want to reach out to you, like on Instagram or on LinkedIn, to ask you advice about running and fitness, and also like in hospitality, is it all right for them to reach out to you? And
absolutely, like, I'm on LinkedIn, like you said, so Daniel Kristof it is. On Instagram, you know, the running Manc, so it's Manc, MANC for Mancunian, Manchester. But yeah, on all things, it's reach out, please, because you know, I love speaking to people that are in the same industry. I love being challenged. Again, I love helping people, but other people, again, for advice. If anyone's got any advice for anything that I sort of reach out upon on like stories and stuff, let me know, because we need to learn. You know, we're all learning together, and there's different ways of doing things. But yeah, without a doubt, get in touch.
Awesome, man. Appreciate that. Guys, Danny's not on Facebook at the moment, but he's on LinkedIn as Daniel Kristof, and also the Running Man. On Instagram, I'll leave you the handle in the comments. So if you want to go and give him a follow to follow his work, you can go ahead and do so. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you coming here, Danny. Yeah, we'll definitely be in touch. Let me know how things go for you.
Of course, mate. Thank you very much for having me anyway. It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully we'll do it again sometime.
But yeah, for sure, man. I want to go to your, when you start your running podcast. I'll go there. I'm not sure if I'm like a good guest for that, as I'm not like a natural runner, but if you want me there to talk about the hospitality a little bit, I'm happy to do so.
That'd be amazing, mate. That'd be amazing.
All right, man. All right, hospitality fitness community, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week for another episode.